What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist, and I'm here with the one, the only
Gershwan.
And today we're back to answer more questions from you guys in another installment of For the Greater.
This is a video series where we answer the questions left by you, the viewer. If you have a question for us, comment down below. Put question in front of your question because we get to those questions first. And as you guys can hear, I am sick. The grasp of Nurgle has gotten me. It's not COVID. I got tested. So thankfully, it's all the same symptoms, but it's not COVID.
Right. Watch, I'm probably going to get COVID because of this.
Yeah.
But we praise Nurgle in this warp household.
Yes. And speaking about Nurgle and the Chaos Gods, Tommy Falcon says, would the Imperium and Chaos ever...
Tommy Falcon?
Falcon, yeah.
If that isn't a porn name, then...
Yeah, that would be a good porn name.
Mm-hmm.
Tommy Falcon. It's memorable.
It is.
And then his little logo says 100% rad. Rad is something that you don't hear very much anymore.
I love that.
Would the Imperium and Chaos ever team up to fight the Tyranids or a similar big threat?
The Imperium and Chaos?
Not in a grand scale.
No.
Very rarely do you ever see a team up, or ever have we seen a team up between forces of Chaos and the forces of the Imperium side by side, like big scale.
Right.
That's not to say that it hasn't happened in smaller scales, because so Eisenhorn has teamed up with a Chaos entity. I forget its name. It's like a really weird name. But it's basically a demon host that follows him around as he goes and tries to fight Chaos with Chaos.
Right.
So that alliance between the demon host and the Inquisitor exists. Mm-hmm. So small scale, yes, it does happen. Big, huge scale, I've never heard of any.
The closest thing I could think of is when you have okay, so it's the Imperium and Chaos, but Chaos is kind of being led or has some sway because of, I forgot his name. The dude with the double pistols, Dark Angel, Fallen.
Oh, Cypher.
Cypher, there you go. Because he tends to be working on both sides, so sometimes he could be leading his own Chaos warband, and unbeknownst to the grander Chaos faction, they're actually helping the Imperium through some nefarious ways. So it's very Alpha Legion-esque, where it's he's double-crossing both sides, but at the end of the day, it's benefiting Cypher and whatever plots he has.
Yeah, but you'll never see a situation like the Eldar and the Imperium allying to fight the Orcs, or the Tau allying with the Imperium to fight the Tyranids. That kind of stuff doesn't really happen.
Right. I feel like if the Chaos and the Imperium were fighting on a world, and then a Tyranid tendril came in, it'd just be a three-way free-for-all.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. One of them would retreat, and I feel like it would probably be Chaos, because Chaos would just be yeah, we're not trying to fight no Tyranids.
Right.
Next question.
This one's by Brian Deans. Will Trazian the Infinite ever release Loyalist Fulgrim to come back to the Imperium? And could that Fulgrim unite and turn the Emperor's children back from Chaos? So is that confirmed?
Yeah.
So Loyalist Fulgrim is being held in a stasis chamber by Trazian?
I don't know if it's Loyalist. I think it's Fulgrim. It's a clone
of Fulgrim, yeah.
I wouldn't say that it's 100% Loyalist.
Because I feel like if you have a Primarch that turned to Chaos, whenever you clone that Primarch, there was still going to be that notion, that probability that they too could turn Chaos.
Yeah, and I don't think that part is kind of up in the air. Mm-hmm. And when will it happen? Probably soon. Well,
I hope it's soon.
Yeah, because it is a really cool and interesting little thing to throw in there, to have a demon Fulgrim, and then at the same time have a clone of Fulgrim. I don't think he's gonna make his Emperor's children traitor legions go back to the Loyalist, because once you're Chaos for good.
Once you go Chaos, you don't go back.
Especially when it comes to the Emperor's children, because they're so devoted to Slaanesh.
True. And Slaanesh is that sugar mama that you can't get away from.
Yeah, no. Once you start suckling from her teat, it's over.
Yeah, that sweet nectar's got you.
Yeah. This next question comes from J-Day. Started a homebrew chapter backwards, just finished painting the other week. In terms of the lore, I want them to be Marines that are redeeming the rest of their chapter that turned traitor. Outside of the Lord build, is there anything specific they would gain on the tabletop for being on a Penitent Crusade? No?
Tabletop wise, no. If you are playing Crusade, then there are like certain benefits, but there's a lot of restrictions to your force.
Yeah.
But yeah, there is no benefit towards, like, if you have a lore for your army, it usually doesn't translate too well to the tabletop.
Unless you borrow from like other named chapters that have a similar lore, because you made me think of the Dark Angels. Now the Dark Angels have like people from the inner circle, so special characters have like special buffs and stuff like that. So I guess you could just reskin a special character from the, did I say Blood Angels?
Dark Angels.
Okay, cool. Yeah, from the Dark Angels, reskin them, who's supposed to be part of the inner circle, because their whole thing is like discovering these traitors or the fallen and killing them, whereas like you would be redeeming them. So just flavor the wording differently, but that's really just for you.
Yeah.
Lore or tabletop wise, just it's a reskin of a model,
Right.
which is cool. Next question.
This one's by Judge Dredd. Good movie, by the way. When are you guys going to do a video on the Sisters of Silence who were captured by Chaos and were quarantined when they returned to the Imperium?
Soon, baby.
Yeah. The Sisters of Silence, I always want more from GW. Because I feel like they're a faction that was like introduced. They got really cool lore. They're blanks, they're nulls. And then that's it.
Yeah.
It's like they get like kind of shoved in with the Adeptus Custodes, and I mean it makes sense, but still there's like so many things you could do to flesh them out. They got some pretty awesome notable characters and whatnot. Like I said, their lore is really awesome, but I feel like if they do want to expand on armies and stuff like that, this should be the one they focus on.
Yeah, I agree. And yeah, we haven't talked about the Sisters of Silence a lot. There's a lot of things that I feel that I thought we covered on the channel, and then when I go back, it turns out that it's either like a really, really old video, or we haven't actually covered it at all. And the Sisters of Silence is one of them.
Yeah.
I feel like we could do much better in covering them. Next question comes from Erok9. We all know about Space Marines and Thunder Warriors, but did humanity try any other variations of biological enhancing soldiers? Yeah, the Unification War was all about that. The gene labs on Luna were also all about that. So just like, that's why I said a couple of Greater Walls ago, my favorite era in 40K or in the Warhammer 40K universe is the Unification Wars. Because there's like so much techno-barbarian like clans and stuff like that you could explore.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Very like Mad Maxy, but adding that futuristic flair to it.
Yeah.
This next one is by Ben Ramsey. Hello, One Mind Syndicate. I've watched the channel for a while, and I saw one video about if it could be possible for Jesus to be in the Warhammer 40K universe. And so I came up with my own question that stuck with me for about a year now. Could there be such a thing as a Christian traitor or renegade space marine? Or will the Imperium tolerate Christian space marines like they do with the Mechanicus, since they build all their super cool space stuff?
So, Jesus, or like the Christian belief, would be something that probably didn't manifest strongly within the warp, because if you notice, the four major powers or the four major chaos gods are evil, or like they stem from like some type of evil emotion. So you have wrath, lust,
Like
decay,
gluttony. Yeah.
and what was the other one?
Plotting, scheming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Jesus was supposed to represent like love through community. The closest thing, like, so when people would pray to Jesus, that emotion that they were yearning for, which is again love in community, would manifest in the warp, and you might get like a minor chaos god, but ultimately when the chaos gods were born or they gain their full power, they kind of consume all of the other ones. So if anything, I would assume Tzeentch would like suck up like the whole concept of like community and engagement between like one another. So, and then obviously when the Emperor came around, he was like, no, we're going to destroy everything. So he probably destroyed everything connected to beliefs like Christianity, Islam, all that kind of stuff, because he didn't want that. He didn't want any church. He knew that like religion was just tearing people apart. So probably not, but that's not to say that you couldn't do it, because you could say that there was some relic STC that taught people how to build, like, I don't know, churches or something like that.
Yeah.
And then you could have that, and then like a Space Marine chapter finding that, and then becoming kind of like believing that the Emperor was Christ or something like that. You could twist it like that.
Mm-hmm. There's so many things you could do with that theology that would make sense. They could find the Holy Grail, and by sipping from the cup, they learn about Jesus or the Messiah or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Like the thing you said too, thinking that the Emperor is God or Christ, something like that. So
Yeah.
it's very easy to spin theologies and make it work with 40K, but at the same time, you can't just say, I have a whole chapter of it. And they were always like that from the beginning, because that's not the thing. It's like they kind of have to stumble upon it one way or another.
Yeah, but take it more like a mystical, like, who is this Jesus character that the chapter is trying to figure out, and or who the chapter believes him to be, like an emperor, like an early version of the Emperor, I guess.
Or maybe you could say when the Emperor was hiding out on Terra, he was like Jesus.
Yeah, or that's what they think.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, I thought about like maybe even making like an Ark of the Covenant could be like a piece of Old One technology given over to humanity or discovered by humanity and used by early Christians, who then like hid it. This chapter found it again, and now it's a relic of like the golden age of technology, and your chapter can use it, or they're looking for it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how you can connect it too.
Yeah. The only thing that's kind of hard is like the whole wiping out of like religion and how these relics survive that.
Yeah.
And the thing too is like all this is obviously taking place on Earth, which is Terra, which is kind of hard to have a chapter be based off of Terran stuff and not be like integrated with like the lore of how Terra is now.
Yeah, but it's cool.
Yeah, you can make it work.
And then he had a second part, right?
No, that's all they had, at least on this one.
Okay. Next question.
This one is by Tommy Falcon, once again. Does the Imperium have police? I can't imagine a Space Marine or Imperial Guardsman pulling somebody over for speeding. Or do they basically have judges like Dredd? You hit the nail on the head with the second one. Yeah, they've got enforcers of the law, which is literally Judge Dredd. And I think, what is it? Yeah, Dredd came first, and like 40K kind of borrowed from that.
Yeah.
But yeah, they've got, what do they call it? Arbiters?
Yep, arbitrators.
Arbitrators, there you go.
Yeah.
Adjudicators?
The Adeptus Arbeit.
Mm-hmm. And they've got like Cyber Falcons, Cyber Mastiffs to help them with that.
Yeah, but they remind me of sheriffs more so than police officers.
Yeah.
So like they're going to be in charge of global policing, whereas like still hive cities are going to have their own enforcement, like security guards and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah.
If you really want to have a good feel for how that is, definitely check out Judge Dredd. I believe, if I remember correctly, one of the judges is actually a psyker.
Whoa.
In that movie.
I need to watch that movie.
Yeah, it's really good. More so the more recent one than the one with Sylvester Stallone.
I need to watch it. Is it on any streaming network?
I don't know, but I want to watch it now.
Yeah.
That one and Event Horizon are basically 40K movies.
Yeah. This question comes from Juan Jose Mendivil. Lemon on pizza? Would you ever thought of a combination on your own if you never read this?
Lemon on pizza?
Would you ever thought of that combination on your own if you never read this? I would have never thought of that.
No, yeah.
Sorry.
I feel like most like Mexican or Hispanic people put lemon on like their tacos and this and that, but I've never thought about putting it on pizza.
Yeah, I think it would actually taste really good now that I think about it. There's this restaurant near us. It's called the Turf Room, and they have calamari with sun-dried lemons, like lemon wheels, that you eat. And they have, so it's like a bed of calamari. On top of that, it's like marinara sauce, and then it's sprinkled, or it's like topped with these like sun-dried lemon wheels all over the place, and then like I think chives. Surprisingly really good. Like at first you bite into it and it is like straight up lemon, but then the crunch I don't know. Coming or saying that, now I'm starting to make the connection. And yeah, I bet that would be really good.
Yeah, I'm starting to salivate.
Yeah, I'm hungry now. Next question.
This one is by Simon Teese. My main lore for 40K is 2nd edition. At the time, AFAIK, you could not have mixed Chaos factions, especially, say, Khorne and Slaanesh on the same side.
That's weird.
Because they'd automatically attack each other. So, why don't you mix Chaos forces automatically? So why don't mixed Chaos forces automatically attack each other? Lore-wise, at least, they may have the same goal. Because you are right. Khorne does have a hatred for Slaanesh, so they would be attacking each other normally. But you could say that they have a little agreement, like a little treaty for the time to basically not attack each other to get that end goal. And once that happens, then back to the bloodshed.
Yeah.
They had this type of scenario in previous editions of 40K where it was like allies of convenience, straight up allies, or allies that would attack each other. So if you did wanted to play a Khorne army and a Slaanesh army, you could do that, but you wanted to make sure that you split your army so that if they got too close to each other, you wouldn't be shooting yourself in the foot, so to speak.
Yeah.
So this is possible. Nowadays, you can just run an unbound army, and you won't have any command points or anything like that, but you could at least play whatever model from whatever armies you wanted to.
Yeah. Another thing, too, that I was thinking of was, like, if you look at most of the factions in 40K have a similar situation to what you just described, because when you think of an orc clan or an orc WAAAGH, there's different tribes working with one another. Mm-hmm. It's not all just going to be speed freaks. There's going to be, like, speed freaks, bad moons, snake bites, and you could play that. And then, like, even in Dark Eldar, you have, like, the witches, you have the homunculi.
The
like,
succubi.
Those are all different, like, clans or groups within the grander Dark Eldar. Mm-hmm. And it's the same thing with Chaos. It's like smaller groups within the grander thing. Mm-hmm. On a normal day, they would be fighting each other, but today, they're buddies.
Right. Son amigazos for the camaraderie.
Camaraderie. This question comes from Nuno Barros. How old is that whiskey, Gersh? That's 12 years.
Damn.
Mm-hmm. Next question.
It says, not a question, but he says, Sound Alchemist, I need you to mess up and randomize those magnets on the fridge behind you. Why are they so organized? It's making me crazy every time I see it.
So it's supposed to be, like, the way I did it is every place we visit, like every country we visit, we try to buy a magnet. Or state, I guess. And the top ones are the ones that we've actually visited, because what started happening is that people started bringing us fridge magnets from places that they visited. And we were like, well, that defeats the purpose, because like we've never been to Colombia. Mm-hmm. So then those go on the bottom, and then the top row is the places that I visited. Yeah. So don't mess them up.
Well, we got a quick one by George Frutos. What does STC mean?
Standard Template Construct.
Yeah, and that's basically holding all the information for like old technology. Yep. Which oftentimes is better technology than what they have now.
Think of the conduit from Mass Effect, I think it is.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah. And then this question comes from Judge Dredd. Nope, never mind. We already read
got that one, yeah.
I thought that was a different one.
This one is by Lord Bio. Like the noise that chickens make?
Bio, Bio.
Are there Sisters of Silence of Chaos?
Yeah.
They could be. Like we talked about that one Sisters of Silence that were captured by Chaos but then freed. And they got put on quarantine because they got COVID.
Yeah. And those were the questions for today. If you guys have more questions for us, comment down in the comment section below before we die. Thank you guys so much for listening. We really appreciate you guys. Talk to you tomorrow.
Yeah, keep those questions coming, and I'll keep on building immunities.
This is Gersh 1.
The Sound Alchemist. signing out.
Always used to put my freedom first in any situation.